Hey there, sinners. It's Adam Nox, and welcome to another episode of the Cult of You, specifically the Book of Shadows. Today we open the Book of Shadows on some really interesting subjects. Firstly, I start off with a bit of an unboxing. We cover the beautiful Poppets from the Poppet House, as well as a tarot deck based upon the Goetia from the brilliant Fabio. So alongside those things, I also use one of my little secret tools as well from another dear friend. So do sit back for that. But I'm not just giving you an unboxing today. I'm also following that up with a complete ritual. So you'll see a live demonstration of a ceremony, a very basic one to start with, but how to activate a Poppet, purify it, as well as connect with the entity, in this case the Goethic president Marbas, that will then be channeled and brought into that. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and remember to live deliciously. Okay, thanks for joining today. So let's check out our nice little gift directly from the Poppet House. This will be our first kind of unboxing, or our main unboxing for this month. Extra special thank you to Rihanna from the Poppet House for bringing us this nice little gift. She said that she placed a specific intent for one of the spirits that I work with, so I'm very excited to see what we've got. So let's begin. Now, there's probably like a cleaner way to kind of open these things, but I have this is exciting. So I got the wrong way around. Here we go. A lovely one from the Poppet House. I love their design and their symbol. It's really pretty. The poppethouse.co.za. For those of you watching internationally, this is a South African-based company out of Bloemfontein. They do ship, however, but you'll just have to check. We'll have some description information in the bottom of the video for links to that. So let's see this. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, nice. So there's a nice little descriptor with the sigil. We have Marbas. Oh, yay, President Marbas. This is exciting. I think DH Thorne might also enjoy one of these. So let's look at this. Marbas is a demonic resident who appears as a mighty lion, and then in human shape, he answers deeply concerning all things hidden or secret, causes and cures diseases, imparts skill, mechanics, and changes men into various shapes. He is one of the demons in service to Lucifer. Then we have the correspondence here. We'll talk a bit about this. In fact, I'll do a little bit of a ritual afterwards to kind of help to show you how to empower these things, to turn it, activate it as a servitor. Oh, and we've got a nice actual, so if you're new to this and you don't really know much, here's a nice ritual on how to actually evoke Marbas. So I think we can utilize some of this. We've got a black candle, we've got red candles, we've got a sigil courtesy of the design, and we've got the N, we've got a bit of a description, some options on the offerings. This is very, very nice, and a little bit of a invocative ritual written out for us. That is so cool. Thank you so very much. That is so nice. Let's put that one side. So Rihanna does make these things herself. So they are handmade, which is part of what kind of adds to their beauty. Oh my darkness. How stunning is that? How absolutely beautiful is this thing? Oh my devils. That's delicious. This is so gorgeous. Just look at that. The sigil's perfectly made. Now each of these are custom made, by the way, so not one of them is the same. They make them custom. This is truly a sacred art that, you know, she puts into the creation of these things, and they are just absolutely beautiful. They're truly breathtaking. Let's just take this one out. Oh wow, look at that. That is probably the most beautiful, adorable, and sacred thing I have seen in ages. This is amazing. I love it. With the nice long hair flowing there. How beautiful. And look at the attention to detail. Like, even like these fine little kind of workings inside of it. The leaves, each of them have their own little pieces. There's another little tag on here, which has got the N on it as well as a reminder. A little confirmation there for the hub on Witchy Lane, which is her primary company, so you're welcome to go check that out. Again, links will be to all of this where you can buy your own. Now she also makes these small little sack puppets that are similar to this, but they're smaller, and they're very much filled with herbs. They're packed with herbs on the inside to make them empowered. But this is absolutely perfect. So if you're learning about voodoo or hoodoo and you're starting to explore this, oh, I love that. That is so great. So wonderful. Oh, and I see like we even get a nice, wonderful candle. So that kind of helps me save one of my black candles when I kind of look through this thing. But this is just stunning. Let me just kind of like spread that out a bit better so you can kind of see it. Oh, it's so wild. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this one's so great. It's so beautiful. And look at what we have wrapped around the waist. This is dragon's blood. This looks like dragon's blood, so I'm pretty confident it is. So you have, oh, and you can open it. It's not just there for decorative purposes. So this is nice and practical. Yeah. Oh, that is dragon's blood. So you get some resin with this. So it's already kind of set up in a way where you can kind of get going with your empowerment, your charging of it. So I think we just want to kind of, before we go into the ritual, one of the big things you want to keep in mind when you're getting a poppet. Now these come to you uncharged. They've just been custom made, created for you, and based upon the entity or the inspiration. So one of the first things you'd like to do is you want to purify the poppet from its previous energy before you empower it with its latest energy, which is really important. So one of the things, and it's co-collaborator as well on this, is Lee, and keep an eye out for this month's interview with the devil, where I do have an interview with Lee, who also makes nice boxes, nice cases for the poppets that you can then also order and have available for you. And I believe you can order them together, but again, the links to all of that. And he runs another site called The Devil Made Me, or not The Devil, just Devil Made Me. Again, links to that will be also in the description. And one of the things that I love that he makes as well is this nice, easy, sprayable Florida water. Now, he says cologne because you can wear it like a cologne, but as many of you know, Florida water has a lot of kind of beautiful benefits. It's used very common also in Haitian rituals to purify the space, to create that energy. This one has quite a bit of higher alcohol level inside of it. That's why it can be utilized as a cologne as well, but also giving it a strong kind of purification, both on bacteria, so you can both fight COVID with this thing as well as bad energies, which is really brilliant. So I'm just gonna quickly take this and I'm just going to purify the poppet from its old energy so that it is fresh and ready. Oh, that is such a wonderful smell as well. So now again, be careful when you're using this, especially around candles, because this does contain alcohol. You don't want to have a bit of an exciting flame that kind of just bursts out on you, so just be aware of that. So I'm going to put that one aside. Oh, that is beautiful. So I can now say a little bit of prayer and a blessing to cleanse this, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to do that in a short little micro ritual demonstration that just kind of helps to give you an idea if you bought a Poppet, or even if you're making your own, just how to purify it, which you kind of saw now, which is very simple. You can make a prayer or a statement of intent if need be. It is your focus. You may cleanse and visualize the energy of the old going out and being purified so that the container is ready for what you want to place into it. And yeah, so we'll kind of explore that, but I'll show you in a little bit of ritual afterwards how we can utilize and actually perform this ritual that she gave us, maybe with a little bit of a spin of our own just to empower it. But thank you very much, Rihanna. That is absolutely beautiful. I love my Marbas Poppet. It's the most breathtaking thing. This is gonna have a permanent sacred space on my altar or in my sacred temple, and it's just absolutely stunning. But I'm not done. One of the things that's quite appropriate is that when I was speaking to Rihanna about these beautiful Poppets, and we both shared a love of an artist that we are both very in love with, and that is Fabio Lestrani. So I figured the best thing and the most appropriate addition to our unboxing today would be to actually bring you the Goetia Tarot deck by Fabio Lestrani. That is absolutely a beautiful kind of addition to this, and I'm going to utilize this in conjunction with our ritual today, so we can see the beautiful artwork that he's making. I'm going to open this now so you can see it. You love the sigils and everything that kind of goes in with that. His artwork is absolutely amazing and profound. I'm very curious because, again, we know there's 72 spurs in the Goetia. Yeah, this is a 78 card deck, so I'm really curious to see what he's done with that. Again, none of this has been opened before. You can see 78 tarots with a book, so that's useful. So we'll kind of explore that now. But let's put this one aside and kind of open up to that next space. Just for this piece, I'd like to allow Marbas to see Marbas, so we can kind of have a nice little view on that. Just bring him in here. Okay, that's perfect. So the Goetia Tarot, I've been excited to get my hands on this, and finally arrived. So there you can just get a nice kind of view about the cover. These are available. I mean, the company that does produce these does not deliver to South Africa. So if you are in South Africa and you're looking to get a copy of this deck, you'll have to order it through Amazon. And Amazon delivery is really quick and really fast. I mean, in all honesty, like usually I wait a week, 2 weeks, depending on the shipment that I've chosen for an Amazon package. This one was a little bit of a longer wait for their delivery, simply because of its release cycle. So it's just released. So let's have a look at what we got. Okay. So this is a nice little kind of structured casing. I really think that's beautiful. There we go. So there you see the main piece, and then you get with it the wonderful little booklet that is just, let's look at this thing. Wow. So detailed, wow. Now I just hope that there's English as well. Oh good, so table content, we do have English, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, so quite versatile. Just look at that work, that's absolutely beautiful. The project you are holding was born from my desire to propose a new and modern guise for the part of the anonymous 17th century grimoire called the Lemegaphon Claviculis Salomonis, dedicated to the Ars Goetia, the magical practice designed for evoking and invoking demons. My goal was to reawaken and modernize the sacred practice via a deeply esoteric and ceremonial tarot deck, where each demon becomes not only an arcanum, but also a source of connection and association that will allow you to descend into the depths of your subconscious, right where your shadow has teeth, claws, and horns. We accomplish this with attentive research using some of the most respected sources in the fields, from the attributions of Aleister Crowley to those of Eliphas Levi on the Shem HaMephoras, or the more recent ones by Stephen Skinner. There is no reason to interpretate this descent or fall into a negative way. Demons are in fact a great deal closer to us than any god or divinity, but unlike gods and divinities, they have no unfathomable motivation, gratuitous hatred, or mysterious reasoning. A demon is our direct reflection that feeds on our emotions and takes its image from them. Thus, if we face it with fear and hatred, it will be terrifying and abominable, whereas if we face it with humanity and respect, it will be humane, respectful, and comply at our service. That's great. I love that. There's some really beautiful writing inside of this. Shadows and the Demons, a real nice discussion on the psychology exploration from the Jungian point of view, as well as explorations of the shadow dimensions. Oh, such beautiful reflections of the tower and the tree. This is great. All the direct correspondence, demon cards. That's wonderful. Let's look at this. So, there's a wonderful correlation here to which actual tarot cards each one has been attributed. So we see Baal here to the King of Wands, meaning creative experience, nature, adaptive, and control associated to the sun. Well, since we're with Marbas, let's look at Marbas. Marbas is card 5, which has been attributed to the Hierophant for spiritual guidance, analytical perception, Mercury, Aries. That's wonderful. That's absolutely amazing. So yes, quite a useful little booklet. But now let's kind of explore this bit a bit more. It's amazing. So we have like a kind of keeper card here that kind of just shows the piece. Nice little kind of back art there. Also the same as what we get on the cover. And then we begin directly from the first. Just look at that. That is Baal. And the nice thing is, on the card directly, you see it's correspondent to the normal tarot. Its immediate attribution to its planetary, astrological, and hour, as well as its sigil. This is amazing work. It's the front, and in the back we see that reflection of that kind of like dark mirror, and it's the detail in this is just absolutely amazing. So just look at these. They are so beautiful. The Sango. And here we go. Oh, just look at Marbas. You know, what a beautiful modernized depiction of this. This is absolutely and completely stunning. See how well this kind of goes together. So this is just, it's such a great combo set if you're shopping. It's going to keep in mind this is such a beautiful, and I think just it's very inviting to your practice. Again, we need to be modernizing the craft itself and to explore its beautiful potential. Now, I'm not going to go to too much detail showing you each and every card, but I want to kind of just like lay them out a little bit here. They are such good quality. These are some of the best quality cards I've worked with in a while, so I'm really kind of excited to play with them a little bit more. Is this in the last part? Oh, it's just a nice link for where you can kind of find information about this. So Los Garabo Tarot is the main company organization that create some of the most beautiful and exotic decks that I have seen. Fabio does a lot of his work through them, is published through them, so definitely worth checking out. They are on Instagram. I'll make sure there's a link to them at the bottom as well, so if you want to, you can kind of just follow them and just get a look at the decks. Again, if you are in South Africa, you'll have better luck ordering their decks on Amazon, because most of the decks are available on Amazon, but it will create a very beautiful kind of addition, I think, to any serious practitioners that just look at that. And the feel of these cards are just absolutely amazing. For all those struggling with what entity to work with and its deeper meanings, this is just perfect and powerful. So, thank you very much. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you to our contributors for this month's unboxing. Very nice. And if you want to promote some of your material, feel free to drop us a mail. And if it is in resonance with our work and what we're believing and what our standards are, we will kind of bring it up and share it with the community. And that is a big thing. We're not going to promote just anything. I'm going to only promote stuff that I kind of find useful inside of my own practice, that has some kind of degree of value. So let's take this and kind of go into something a bit more of a practical kind of example on how do we now take this, maybe do a bit of a divination with the cards, and empowering our puppet that we have for our specific intention. Cool, I'll see you on the other side.
I've always felt a little different, a little uneasy between regular folk, a bit of a dreamer, a lost cause, a little non-ordinary, some would say. I think I've always just been this way. My mother said I was special, my father thought I should be feared. But I knew that witchcraft coursed through my veins the first time I tasted the lips of the goddess inside the rain. Yes, I'm a witch, it's true. And sure, we are the ones who believe in the beauty of nature, who believe in the things science absent of art cannot explain, who instead of religion would have romance. And sure, you may think we have lost our way, when in the world of predictable things we have such unfamiliar things that we would like to say. But maybe in a world so cold and alone, a little unfamiliar is exactly what is needed to show us the way home.
So welcome to a little bit of a ritual demonstration. I wanted to give you one example of how you may empower a puppet and also how to connect with a Goethic spirit. Now firstly, let me be clear and say that I don't recommend this practice for a beginner. If you're completely new to the craft, do a course like mine where you get to understand the fundamental structures of these things, or do it through someone else. But the fact is, you have to first resolve your mixed associations, your bad narratives, before you're able to utilize these things in any effective way. Now, you can look at the Goethic forces through many lenses. Some refer to them as aspects of the subconscious. Some refer to them as independent spiritual entities. Some refer to them as manifestations of the infinite self, or our God self. The pantheon, the way you're going to experience them, has a lot to do with that. Your interpretation of it will determine your manifestation or your access levels to it. Now, the ritual version that I'm going to demonstrate to you today is a very simplistic one. I will be demonstrating the Draconian invocation, or the invocation of the dragon, as utilized in the Dragon Rouge. You can find this in Thomas Carlson's Kabbalah, Qlipoth, and Goethic Magic. I will be doing a review on that, but there is also an interview with Thomas in the show that you can go and have a look at. Now, beyond this, it is important that if you're beginning, that you have done some purification. If you've been able to fast, if you've affected your diet, all these are factors that'll help you. Again, for more information on that, look to the interview with Arundel, where we explore some of those other factors that go in behind a successful evocation or invocation. Now, we're not going to go that far today. All that we're going to do today is we're going to take our newly received puppet, which has been kind of dedicated to Marbas, and we're going to activate it, so to speak, with that essence, simply in a very basic way that we can bring that energy into our life. Now, my specific intention when I first worked with Marbas, I found a lot of kind of mechanical engineering insights. I suddenly had ideas on how to build structural things for goals that I had in mind, and this kept improving, and it was very much a guiding presidential, as he is a president in the Goethic hierarchy, had a lot of beautiful benefits. The energy, the manifestation was subtle but very, very clear. And the lion, which I kind of attribute both to Leo as well as to the lion-heartedness, being strong or confident, courageous. And again, being courageous oftentimes is just being able to be vulnerable. And there's an old beautiful phrase that says, courage is the ability to speak the heart without filter. So it is about aligning that. So when working with Marbas, remember those are factors. Coming to your truth, being more technical in terms of an engineering aspect, all these are quite helpful. Now, just a little bit of my setup here. I have a little bit of a ritual diary here that I like to kind of use just so I can reference. Nice little cover. By the way, if you like these, check out the Blissmonger if you're in South Africa. They have wonderful ones like this. I have a Goethic mala. This has been inspired by working from a fellow practitioner when working with Paiman, which gave the suggestion of a 72 bead mala, which is quite interesting because the traditional malas is 108, which equates to 9. A 72 bead mala still equates to 9. We got some extra instructions on it to activate, but I'll be utilizing this today. Now, I may forward some parts because I want this to be instructional and not bore you with needless things, and I'll still decide if I end up leaving any direct channelings or messages that I receive inside of this or leave that to another area. I have my ritual mask. I always prefer to wear a mask when I'm doing workings. The reason for this is because I'm not going in as Adam. I'm not going in as my personality. I'm going in and getting rid of the personality. That's what the circle represents. It's the personal boundary. And I'm going in to release my limited self and as such don the robe of my infinite self. From that place where I can command and I can direct spirit, that is free from insecurities and doubts and any kind of limitations as such. I have 5 candles. I have the 2 candles. I have the black and the red as recommended in the ritual that we did get with our little, paper piece, so to speak. And I'm going to read through that, but we're going to adjust it a little bit. I have my Poppet. I have my cards that I did a little bit of an early reading for. I have chosen the Marbas card from the Goethic Tarot deck, the Tarot in Darkness, and I'll be using this as a focus point for my path working to access that spirit. I have here a bowl that I'll be utilizing resin into to add smoke that I'll be using to charge and activate my Poppet. Now, I've already pre-cleansed this Poppet, and there are many ways that you can do it. Again, my recommendation is to grab some Florida water off of Devil Made Me Do It. There's also lots of recipes for this on site, or you can even, if you're really low on budget, a simple water mixture with coarse sea salt and maybe some herbs that represent it, and then fused with the intent of purification can also work, and a little sprayer that you can just spray over your Poppet. I wouldn't run this down through water because again it's material and I don't know all the details about it, so I'd rather do something that you've got control over. If you really can't get your hands on anything like that, a simple prayer or blessing of clearing can do that, utilizing visualization. Remember, magic is an imagination art, because the imagination is the doorway between the conscious and the unconscious world. So we utilize that and we empower these figures so they become real in our mind. And once they become real in our mind, they have an effect on our brain, and as such an effect on our body, biochemistry, and our consciousness as a whole. And this is what impacts our reality. So be very conscious of this when you're working with any kind of spirit. So don't work with ones that you haven't researched, that you haven't chosen a face for, because you might be manifesting aspects in your life that you're not ready to deal with. Now, I have a long-standing relationship with Marbas. I've worked with him in the past, so I don't have a lot of worries like that. But be aware of the aspect of the entity that you are going to call forth. Again, it's good to purify or banish your circle before you start, simply to remove any parasites. You're not doing it to, banish the higher entities. Higher entities are not going to be banished from something like that, but it will get rid of those parasites, those things faking or pretending to be the same thing. Now, that's pretty much it in terms of our tools that we have here inside of the space. By the way, the resin that I'll be using is Dragon's Blood resin as recommended. Again, looking at the practice, a very simple, basic evocation in a practice. It says, light a candle and incense, relax your mind and body. When you feel ready, begin the chant mantra, which is an N, and these N's come from the work of S. Connolly. I am in discussion with her to bring her on the show, so we'll see. Hopefully we can get that in the future. Keep chanting the mantra until you feel the energy of the other side. The split comes, then spill some of your own blood on the sigil of Marbas. and then say, Marbas, accept my blood as an offering, answering the call to manifest in the black mirror. That's your choice. You may choose. There is an interview later this month with Lee where we do discuss that. You don't need much. A simple lancet prick is enough just to empower it. Now, I'm not going to do that today, simply because I have a bit of a different process on how I get to that. But by all means, if you do, please be responsible. Use clean lancets. Again, use your common sense. It's important. Now focus your attention on a black mirror. Raise the dagger and say these words. There's a short little calling here in the name of the dragon. She invokes him. She gives specifications by the name and calls it into the temple, and then asks that he manifests himself inside of the black mirror, and then closes with the Hodrak and Omegas, which I kind of like as a draconian myself. Keep your attention on the mirror. Say the name Marbas as a mantra. Open your mind until the context is established. The words of the calling are just examples, and you can use your own. Now we're gonna use our own. We're gonna use a bit of a different version of it. I like that I have the sigil here. Again, there for you that are in the cult course. Once you get to the Draconian Sorcerer, I do elaborate a complete detailed procession on how to work with Goethic spirits, how to do it safely, how to understand, how to develop discernment, how to work through all those things, and go through all the different processes. So this is a very basic one today, but is still an effective one for our intent and our purposes. Now, before you begin any working, you need to start getting yourself into a trance. Now, there's many ways to go into trance. So as I go into this working, I'm not going to go all the way deeply in and lose my consciousness, because I'm going to try and narrate what I'm doing internally, just so you have some ideas of what has to happen. A lot of people just jump into the practice. You want to first get into trance, tune in, and do that. Now, I've got the sigil right in front of me, and I've got the card of Marbas with its beautiful depiction in front of me. Now, I may utilize something like drums or other activities like a shaker, which I'm going to use today, and I'm just trying to get a rhythmic tone. Now, another benefit of this is the more you key to repeated tone, for example, like drumming, that helps you get into a trance state. There's a practice called trance drumming where everyone just literally keeps the same rhythm the entire time, but the brain goes into these loops. Repeated patterns create loops. These are also used for kind of purifying your sacred space. I purify and cleanse this space of any unwanted energies, unclean forces, and invoke only the powers for high magic into this space. Beginning my working, I'm going to begin by setting my mask. And again, you don't need to do this with the mask. If you are a member of the Cult of You, you'll understand exactly why I use the mask and its purpose. Now, sorry, I just want to clarify for one moment that she didn't provide the N in here. What she did provide, the mantra, is a gate opening. But I will be using the N in our practice. I begin by putting my body into trance. I'm using my breath to focus my attention. Now, by doing this, I prefer to use the somatic descent, where I put my attention inside of my body, and I actually breathe through my entire body as an organism, imagining that I'm breathing in and out through my pores to help disassociate from my left logical brain and associate more to the right brain, more to the subconscious. Finding myself entering a nice state of trance. I'm present, let go of the past and the future. There's only the now. You may reach out to look at the sigil. So I have it in my mind. And then I'll begin my opening with the dragon invocation. Melez, I invoke the dragon, the lord of ancient Atlantis, the dweller in the abyss in the depths of my soul. I invoke the dragon. Rise up from the ocean's deep. Come forth from the chaos, and may your fires enlighten the obscurity of my being. Lepaka clifoth, marach tehum, kamusil nuchar, leviathan ruash, moshel nachit teli. I conjure thee, the most ancient of the ancients, O Tehum, come forth from the black sea of chaos and annihilate the lies we take as truth. I conjure your power so that it will be as one with my being, a wanderer on the draconian path, the life-giving and death-bringing flames from the jaws of the great red dragon. Tehum, Armbrub, Rochiel, Buriel, Marach Abahim, Teli, Ipakol, Loriel, Odrakon, Omegas. I feel, sense, experience, and hallucinate the power of the dragon as I embrace the energy of the dragon. I see its fire creating a circle around me of protection, empowering me through the fire as I transform into my draconian self. I begin to formulate the sigil in the space between and above my eyebrows in the dark. Hail, mighty President Marbas. I invite and conjure you. I call you here to my working this day in the name of the dragon, and in my own name. I come forth not to demand you like some fool, but simply to ask for your wisdom, your guidance, and your company, O mighty President. Hail unto thee, hail unto the dragon, hail unto me. I can already begin to feel a light change in my mind's eye. I see white horses. To however deepen my trance, I am going to begin with the mala and the N. Mighty Marbas, I chant your N as an honor and devotion to you, and to align my energy more deeply with thee. Renes, Tasa, Uberaka, Biasa, Ikar, Marbas. Renes, Tasa, Uberaka, Biasa, Ikar, Marbas. Renes, Tasa, Uberaka, Biasa, Ikar, Marbas. Renes, Tasa, Ubraka, 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 Biasa, Ikar, Marbas. Whilst I'm doing this, I'm squeezing up on the base muscles and the BC muscle, and I'm pulling up that Kundalini energy into my brain. I'm hallucinating it charging the sigil, which I'm starting to make 3D and really immersing myself into it. Renes, Tasa, Uberaka, Biasa, Ikar, Marbas. 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 I'm starting to charge the energy. I'm now going to begin switching my breath. So as I inhale that Kundalini energy up, I'm going to exhale that energy into the Poppet, beginning to charge and activate it, as well as into the sigils to further attune myself to the mighty President. Renes, Tasa, Uberaka, Biasa, Ikar, Marbas. 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 Renes Tasa Ubaraka Biasa Ikar Marbas. I can't keep going, but I feel so much energy through my body. I can feel the charge is strong, and I can feel the presence of the Spirit. Why have you called me? I hear in my mind. Why have you called me to come? Mighty President Marbas, I call you this day to help empower and encharge this puppet with your properties, that it may contain some of your energy, that energy may be used to protect those in this home and in this temple, and myself from all illness. Remove all illness from us, and inspire us with great wisdom and knowledge of engineering, that your qualities may grow and develop inside of us. Please accept this offering of myrrh, of dragon's blood. As I ask you to manifest your energy and your power inside of this puppet, to charge it and enliven it, to awaken it with its purpose, with your purpose, that it may act as a guide and as a symbol, as a tool of protection in this home and in this temple. Renes Tasa Ubarasa Biaka Ikar Marbas. Renes Tasa Ubaraka Biasa 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 Ikar Marbas. Mighty Marbas, I call your energy and your essence and your spirit into this. Leave some part of you within this puppet, that it may act as a guide and as a servitor inside this space on your behalf. Fill it with one of your spirits and one of your essences. I hereby consecrate and charge. I invoke inside this puppet the powers of Marbas, the powers of healing, and the protection against illness, the inspiration of creative thinking in the areas of engineering, the mechanical details, and the technical masteries of this world. May you act as a representative and keep this home safe and protected from all ill-willers. Renes, Dasa, Uberaka Biasa, Ikar Marbas. Mighty Marbas, if there is any message or transmission that you would like to give at this time, I invite you and welcome you to do so. When you identify with the lion, you do not concern yourself with the thoughts of sheep. To be truly brave, you must be truly vulnerable. And the reason you have failed in many aspects is by the law of identification. You cannot identify with what you do not wish to increase in your life. Sometimes you must walk alone. And even though you may collaborate, you cannot submit to that which is not your own tribe. Because to do so is to betray yourself and your genius. What you see as madness, what they claim to be your madness, is in fact your liberation. Do not judge yourself as they judge you, for I do not judge you. I have come to you time and time again, and I have taught you many things. Yet, at times you are like the lion indeed, but the one resting in the shade. That one will die early. Be instead the fierce one that leads the rest of the pack, that faces that which the others do not wish to face, and thus surmounts that which others do not wish to surmount. In doing so, demonstrating what is possible instead of simply speaking it. Many speak on my behalf, but few do as instructed. That and that alone is the only voice we hear. That is the regard that we will hold you in. And that is by what you will be judged, not by any other but by yourselves.
failure to act in accordance with your true will. This is the true sin. This is the true faltering of man. It is not the faltering that is known by the beast. And until the beast and the God is united, the work is incomplete. Know that we are with you whenever you call, even if most of you cannot hear it, even if you are often too distracted by your sequence or assumptions, your rituals and your processes, over-dramatizing and then as such being unable to perceive us. Open your heart, my child, and know that I am here. Open your mind and listen. The wealth and the health has always been yours and is always available. Your only failure in attaining this is not because of simple alignment, but due to a lack of faith and alignment with your sovereignty. A sovereign does not declare itself a sovereign, simply acts in accordance with itself, without seeking the approval of others. Become the sovereign in every aspect of your life. Business is as important as prayer. And the mark of leadership is the mark of purpose. And in the face of purpose, no illness can stand. For it is the will of man, when true, that overcomes all. I, Adam Nox, in the name and powers of Marbas, he who has granted me the servitor that I now possess you with, charge you to be a living Poppet, awaken to your purpose to ensure good health and sound judgment to those who look upon you, to protect against illness and disease in all forms, and to guide with rational mind. So be it. after any channeling, give yourself a few moments just to kind of settle back into time and space. Whenever we go in, we let go of time, space, the personality, all these basic factors. And that opens up to these other dimensions of the universal self. I'm feeling quite high, energetically speaking. So you want to ground yourself nicely with the working as much as you can. Extra bit of charging on that. I thank you, mighty Marbas. I thank you, glorious President, for your presence and your assistance, for granting me the charge and the power to enliven this Poppet with your energy, that it may serve the purpose by which it has been declared. I hereby, as the Knight of the Dragon, declare this working closed, and I thank you for your presence, and I will not insult you with banishments, but simply thank you and welcome you in your knowledge always in my life, to aid me to discern clearly, to know your presence amongst the others. I thank you for your aid. I thank you for your assistance. And I wish thee, for now at least, farewell. Now, during the session, I received some insights and some ideas that are personal, which I will write down in my diary. I can still feel the presence and the energy quite intensely, very thick in the air. But life must go on, and I can return to the working at any time. Never let the workings, the processes, over-dominate your will as well. Be aligned, be focused, but be respectful. Again, if you are a beginner, do not work with a goethic force necessarily. There are many others. I always use the phrase that if you can't summon an elemental yet inside of yourself, why are you working with anything higher up the ranks, or lower in the infernal? It's an art and a skill set that needs to be mastered further. Now again, as I mentioned earlier, I do go into a lot of details about this inside of the Cult of You, but there are endless resources. But the best judge of this at the end of the day is yourself. Practice, modify your practice, alter it, and see what works or at least to a degree more effectively for you. Till then, till our next conversation, I'm Adam Nox, and remember to live deliciously.